so we ended up staying in the hospital at that point for 5 days. And I remember getting the phone call from him, of course, because he can't drink at all when you're in the hospital. And he called me basically crying and saying, they just told me I'm going to die. I can't believe it. Oh my God, when are you going to get here? They just told me I'm going to die. And I was like, Stephen, calm down. I said, I'm coming tonight, because I still continued to work. I had to. And so then when I went there, we had a plan kind of in place for him to go to a hospice situation. But he is so ornery that when I went to go visit him on August 20th, so we lasted 5 days in the hospital. When I went to go see him, he was like, get me the hell out of here. I want to go home. And I'm like, well, you can't go home. You can't go home. You can't even really walk. So how are you going to go home? And he goes, I'm not staying here another day later. You take me home. So I was like, oh no, what does that even mean for me? Like, I can't, like,
what is
how
it?
do you,
It's
the death sentence for me. Like, how do I even help you? Like, I can't pick you. I can't do anything.
How'd you even okay, so you take him to the hospital. They tell you it's a hospice situation.
Right.
Like, was your mind even like going there? Like, okay, this is happening. This is about to happen.
Right.
Like, how did I process? How did you process it?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts of, wow, we're really right here now,
Well, in truth be told, Jen, and I probably haven't said this to anybody, but I was relieved, which is part of that whole grief process. Like, it's a relief grief, but is that normal to have? I was relieved that somehow he would get help now. Okay, so so you say to yourself, okay, hospice though, that's like the worst case scenario. I guess I was hoping that maybe something would change. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I guess I was just relieved that he got diagnosed. Almost like saying, okay, Stephen, now are you going to listen to them? Now will you stop? But it had progressed so bad that there was no return. I guess the liver will regrow itself, I guess.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it does. And so I guess if there's a certain piece, but his was too far gone. It couldn't regrow. It couldn't.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and I could be completely off on that, but
so when you knew that it was like this is about to happen, you were thinking, well, I feel okay with that. You were not okay with it. I don't know what to say.
That's not the right words.
Yeah, it's not okay with it. But you said relief. Not relief that you want death to be the outcome, not that, but just maybe just relief that the whole struggle would be over somehow.
Right. I mean, I hate to say it, and I know, other people don't really go through exactly what I go through, but it was like I had the words, finally. I was like, finally, I don't have to go through that anymore. I was partly like in a prison because I loved this man so much.
Yes.
I loved him so much through the years. And this also leads me to my future, which I know we'll talk about later, but how do I ever find somebody ever to come close to the love I had for Stephen? I mean, I loved Stephen when I was 16 years old, and now I'm 60. So it's kind of like, and through all those topsy-turvies getting back and everything, so I was relieved that I had, there was an answer, I guess, but I guess it was all so unknown. You know what I mean? Like, I had only lost my father up to this point. So I had never really lost anybody, but every person who knew him, every single person was like, Yeah, I'm not surprised, because they knew what he was all about in terms of the drinking, and in terms of his attitude about it, and not
Yeah.
being able to and not being able to and not being able to ever stop, and not being able to um, muster up what you need to muster up when you're this bad, when alcohol is affecting your body this bad. I understand it's a disease, and he, through his whole IOPs that he went through, he understood it as well. But I guess, and that's part of my other anger, is that you couldn't muster it up enough to live the rest of your life with me after it took all those years for me and you to get together, that you
Yeah.
couldn't find a way, to become sober. Instead, you've now left me all alone for the rest of my life without me.
Yeah.
And now, like, he always treated me like a princess, and I was on a pedestal with him. He just would, anything I wanted, everything that I wanted, he would make sure I had. And he just, it was just great. I mean, it was wonderful.
Yeah. And
And
the alcohol was just like the beast that got between you.
yeah, it's really, really strange. I feel like, and I'm sure with other drug abuse that people have, um, illegal drug abuse, I guess. It's the same way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Substance abuse is substance abuse. But I just think with alcohol, it's so much easier. Um, in the whole process of Stephen going through all of his different um, things that he went through in terms of like therapy and the IOPs and all the different things that he did, I became totally um, like a sponge when it came to learning about alcoholism. Like, we even would go to AA together, even though I'm not an alcoholic, just so because he wanted me to go with him. There were
Mhm.
times he went alone too, but there were some meetings that we would go to together. And I just am amazed that every single time I see how people have made it, and that they have overcome it, and they do. I used to see it in the meetings all the time. That, and I'm on these things on Instagram about people who have made it, and they're bravo to them. Like,
Yeah.
I know firsthand how very hard it is, and this person truly, honestly, Stephen truly never thought he would lose his life. He had the
Mm.
best luck in the world. He was at the height of his game. He always thought he was going to go out a winner. He had a little leprechaun that would sit on his shoulder all the time that he considered his lucky charm. And he never, ever, ever, ever thought it would catch up with him.
Yeah.
And when it did, it was too late. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that was too much for him to take.
Like you
So